Good day and welcome back. This video is a quick tour of section 1 here. I kind of bit off more than I can chew, and I'm going to have to bring myself back into section 1, the 1 acre of land that's immediately surrounding the house and shop. I have some trees that I have to plant up just in section 2, but right now they're only the mulberries, and then there's some maples, 2 apple trees, and some damson trees up there that I have to tend to. But apart from that, it'll be pretty much working down here close to the house. And first I'm going to switch the screen around so I can just show you the land. Back up here. Now that's a well-established grapevine that's been there since 2002, I believe was the year. Along with where you see those sticks and twigs sticking up there, that one was planted also in the same year. I don't remember the variety. And along here we have a flower bed. I don't know what's supposed to come up here. We have a couple of lilies. There's one right there. There's another couple there. Tulips and dahlias. For now, I'll just have to keep breaking off the other vegetation to keep below the height of the flowers. And this is the old herb garden. So what I'm thinking about doing now is covering this in a deep layer of meadow clippings, and a couple of years, maybe 3 years, but I'll plant transplants through it. Right now I have baby Pam pumpkins, 3 of them. And I'm hardening off a eggplant. I think I'll have 2 eggplants there further down. So I'll have this, including down here, totally covered with a deep layer of grass clippings. The path goes from here. This is the path from the house to the shed. And then, like I say, eventually I'll think about how I'm going to deal with making that an actual clean flower bed. As we go around, first 3 years ago I cleaned out this rose bush. There is a couple of pieces now that has to go, but it's pretty clean. I just got to get the weeds out from around the bottom and mulch it. A west cold frame. There's a watermelon in there and 2 eggplants. As you can see, they're standing up. They're looking the worse for wear, but they'll probably pull around. Here I've edged around. I've got to do cardboard and mulch underneath this. Got the name for it. Still can't remember the name. In the east cold frame, I planted out some the muskmelon seeds again, and they're struggling along. I don't know what's going to happen. That eggplant in there seems to be doing fine. This is the 2 cabbage plants, but they're doing excellent. Actually, I think there's 3 there, looks like. I'm having trouble with the hardening off procedures, and I put out my cucumbers and they all died. I've got some here underneath the snowball bush, and also some up in the traditional garden patch. But this snowball bush is coming back healthier this year than he was last year. Hopefully from here on he returns to his old healthy self. This is a flower bed. This is going to be a wall of flowers. I'll give you a detailed video of this eventually. I have sunflowers spaced every 2 feet, and then some. Peas, onions. Outside the fence is marigolds, asters, and zinnias. And there's some nasturtiums. I don't know if they're coming up yet. I haven't seen them come up yet. All the way along here, there are many plants that are doing well. This is going to be a really beautiful patch of flowers come later in the season. Because it's new, then they're later, but the asters now, they're perennials. There's some California poppy over there. They'll be later. I don't know how soon the marigolds will flower. You see that sunflower there is growing really strong. Here's a wildflower that is going to bloom for me. I left that one there. Along here, the other side of the fence, it's especially going to be a wall of flowers. But I'll tell you why when I give you the details of the actual flower bed. It's mostly asters planted on the outside of the fence here. See another strong sunflower there. This area was where I was wanting to experiment with lamb's quarter. I planted some starts in there, but this is just the cardboard and composted wood chips that I had started with a couple of years ago. I didn't amend this last year, so it's nothing for the lamb's quarter to grow in. I'm going to have to get some good soil and put strips down and lay seed that I have in that. I have to get onto that the next couple of days. This depression here is the outflow from the well being a spring, and so it's constantly flowing. As you can see, it gets down here, it's quite dry, so it has absorbed into the ground by the time it gets here. And here's a good place to show you. I keep calling this the meadow, and I talk about meadow clippings rather than grass clippings, and calling this my lawn because when you look at it, it's not grass. It's clover, dandelions, daisies. There's alpine strawberry here. Oh, there's some alpine strawberry over there. There's even little trees trying to grow, both hardwood and softwood trees. There's sweet William. Pretty much every native plant in the area. Nitrogen fixers, deep tap-rooted nutrient accumulators growing throughout this. And I mow it and use it as mulch in my garden and around my trees. So the area around the house and somewhat into the food force, I will retain this as my amendments for my planting areas. And there's my first row of the start of the food force. It would go starting and going this way, and it's about 6 feet out, like I said, from the outflow from the well. Romeo Cherry is putting out his first flowers. It's got 6 of them. So I really hope to get a cherry from this. I brought out a brush to hand pollinate them, and there was a ant there already doing the work for me. And he's still there. Well, there is an ant in that one right here now. So I got a couple of ants doing the pollination job on those. he's alive. This bush is just late to bloom, leaf out. That's the Juliet cherry that got eaten somewhat by the snowshoe hare, so that's why she don't have any flowers. And we'll go along. I have a bridge built across the ditch here, because this is my wood storage area. The sod that I've been taking up, I got piled right there, because when you get here, you notice that the water from the well can build up here. And I'm going to build a causeway right here with those sods and put a pipe through at the height that I want the water to go. And then I'll have myself a nice pond right here. I have a couple of dock plants, not very many. Two there. I noticed one over there in the pond area, and there's one in one of my garden beds. So I'm trying to encourage those because they're nutrient accumulators, and if I can get them to grow underneath trees or in among the raspberries or something, they're just a chop and drop thing, similar to comfrey. This little guy here is an aster, early charm. That cup is beside a lavender. That cup is beside a lavender. That's an oregano. That's an aster there. This little guy, that's the firecracker goji. He is indeed coming back. He has 2 sprouts up from the roots now, and he has leaves coming out on this branch. So you will do just fine. More plantings underneath the pear tree. So this is my first planting of Goji chinensis, the original Chinese goji. Got him out, he's not dying. So hopefully he survives and grows over the season. This is the other firecracker goji. He's coming back stronger. I think it might be because he's not so close to the maple tree. We'll see about this guy. That's the other Goji chinensis. And as we walk along, this is new for this year, 3 eye bush blueberries, Chippewa. They have flowers on them, so I may get berries my very first season. That'd be nice. And if we go up to the other end of the blueberries, now we can see our line of shrubs going down like this into the maple tree. The firefox willow, I do have the 2 pieces that the hares had clipped off in the house in cups, hopefully getting them to root, and then I'll have 2 more firefox willows to put out if they do. Currants is white currants, and that becomes loaded every year. And you notice once again, and I guess you see that ant there? It's not just bees that pollinate your plants. There's a whole host of insects. This is the sunny plot. My strawberries are coming back quite strong. And new information I gathered, I'm thinking that what I was thinking was the adult form of the strawberry root maggot was not. The plant that was here didn't return to life. That one was completely dead. The one over here, it does have some leaves coming back, and so I'm leaving it there and see what it will do. This was the other weak plant, but it's returning okay. You can see that it's been stressed. I really like the wood chips. Now when I say wood chips, I'm talking not the Paul Gauchi version, but chunks of wood. These are the chips that they take for the pulp and paper industry. They chip up the log in chunks like this to bring to the paper mills. And when they were at the weigh scales, quite often the trucks were overloaded and they had to dump some of their wood chips off before they were allowed to go on. And they left it there as free-for-all. That I've lost that source. So that's why I've switched to the idea of doing seaside sand, the shady patch. That's the other old strawberry patch. Flowering quite well. A couple weeks time I'll have strawberries. Of my bean transplants, I really only have two that are healthy, and that's these two. It's Jacob's cattle. It's my garlic and turnip seed bed. So this way is north. There's an apple tree up right there. And so we turn and we go west. This is a spirea. And along the frontier, this is a currant that I planted. There's a red currant and a black currant. And then there's three more that a friend gave me. I believe that's a red and two black. Once again, this is the bush edge of the food forest. Haskap. We will be getting quite a few Haskap berries this year compared to what I have been getting. So far I've only gotten like a handful of berries off this plant, but the way the spring came on this year, it looks like I'm going to get a lot of berries off that plant this year. There's the other variety, which I don't think I'm going to get anything. The original planting of trees, cherry tree. We've got a row of garlic here. This one's going to flower out nicely this year. The flowers coming there, another one in there. This I don't know what it is, because this is actually the tree that I bought. and the rootstock send up its own shoot. According to the bark and the leaves, it's a cherry tree of some sort. I just have to wait for it to produce to see what sort. We got a Dill's Atlantic giant planted in here again this year. This is a cherry tree. It's well out in bloom. And with our weather, I should get a lot of cherries this year. The golden raspberries underneath the cherry trees. The plan is to have raspberries as a shrub layer. This is a plum tree. There's actually quite a few flowers on it, but with the lighting it's kind of hard to see them right now. Here's my first seaberry that I planted out. Some volunteer sunflowers were growing with him, so I let him keep his sunflower companions. It's still healthy. It's been here for a few days now. I'm hardening off another one, so I will have another seaberry bush 3 or 4 feet over here. Back in here, oh, this is the pineberry. The hens came here when I let them out in the spring, and they really damaged this area. But I do have some pineberry still growing, and there's a couple among the raspberries. Sugar maple and sugar maple. Looks about 8 feet apart. You see this? That's the golden raspberry. They are spreading quite fast. Not that I mind. What I'll do is I'll just come in and I'll pull out this grass by hand, breaking it off. I might have to use my little grass shears, I don't know, and just use it as a chop and drop and just drop it down like this. There's rhubarb in there. There's also a very big dock plant. See this? That's nice. See that big huge rhubarb leaf? I don't know how it got there. Now when I get back here in the next few days and just doing this chop and drop of all this stuff that's growing up, including the stinging nettles, I will work my way around this dock plant and find out exactly what that rhubarb plant is looking like. Now we're up behind the sunny patch, just a sunny patch out through there, and the new 3 beds are right there. And we got this brush pile from where I cut all the aspen down. And here's my root cellar. So this is the area now the food force comes up through, from the corner of the raised bed down there all up through here. See, I cut down an aspen here, and there's another big stump here that was casting shade on this slope. But now that I've got sun back for this slope again, there's going to be an opening in the food forest so that this slope can be used for heat-loving plants. And I will see what happens. But then when we get over past the roadway here that goes up through the property, and this is the hen's pen going to be here, and those row of trees there, then that's where the fence to the end of the ends pen will be, and then a full-fledged food forest can continue on from that. Now at that point you're outside of that 1 acre that I originally talked about, but I do have some trees, and so somewhat of maintenance I can do up here, but I can't be too strict because, like I say, one person can only do so much. It's my hens pen. Let's go in and say hello to the hens. Hello, hens. I have 13 hens now. There was a shy one who would hide away in the laying box, and when she come out, all the rest of the hens pecked on her. She actually stayed away and starved. Came out yesterday to find her dead. The rooster, he's quite a calm little guy. They're not afraid of me, but they don't really like me touching them, so they'll move away if I actually try to touch them. So that cage, I did my research and I made this cage in area big enough for 3 dozen hens. And then out in this area I have a stack of feed sacks full of sawdust for when I need to clean it out. And I put my gardening tools in here. Here's their laying box. See if anybody's in here. So you got 2 in there now, and a broken egg. It's probably a soft shell. There's one hen laying soft shelled eggs. I haven't noticed any sign that they were deliberately breaking eggs. That's one of those coolers that you see at the gas stations with ice in. We got a board put over the hole that's in the top, and yeah, I need to get some more feed, but I puts the feed inside here. Let's go back out. I don't have the nails to put up the siding, that's why the siding is still laying there. So here's the old compost bin. I moved it over there. The other 2 compost bins I have full, and so they're still over there. But I had the idea that I'm going to move them back here. I've got 30 feet in across here. So when I turn the compost bin, I can turn it back, and I can follow it by planting crops in where they were the last time. And I take advantage of the nutrients that's being leached out and taken down by worms, etc., into the base soil. I'll have 3 compost bins side by side. That will give me 12 feet. The shady garden patch. I have herbs planted in here and over here. I'm going to have that full of St. John's wort, and the rest is just annuals. So there's 14 beds here, and then I'll have the 12 by 30 with the compost bins being turned, going in and out here. Those are your regular red raspberries. These apple trees don't look like they're going to produce this year. I don't see any flowers on them. They produced very well last year and they produced very delicious apples. So 14 beds here, 3 feet by 10 feet. 15 beds here. And 16, 17, 18. But we take out, here's rhubarb, and yeah, so that would be 16 beds, 17 beds, 3 feet by 10 feet for annual crops here. And I've got the rhubarb and the 2 strawberry patches. It's my shop for doing my woodwork. And last but not least is right here. Just recently I did the initial edging around, and I done this the way I did out by the fence, and I was amending it somewhat last year. So there's a lot of weeds. Ignore the extra weeds. I bought some strawberry plants from Vessey's because I thought the other strawberries were done for, and this is where I planted them. So later in the season you'll see this with all these weeds taken out, and it put with some nice compost or topsoil over the top of these wood chips. This is 2 forsythias. Forsythia there and a forsythia there. And then right in the middle we have a rose bush. That was a quick walk around, and I hope you like what you've seen. I am looking forward to 2019. I think it's going to be a good year, and I'll be concentrating more on the health of the plants this year instead of the infrastructure. Health of the plants is priority number 1, and infrastructure below that this year. So click like if you liked it. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to see more of gardening in Newfoundland or similar climates. And I'll see you in the next video.